As you all know now, early this morning, Brian Cole Jr. was arrested and charged with placing the pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC on January 5th, 2021. This cold case languished for 4 years until Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino came to the FBI. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team.
Okay, so almost 5 years after January 6th, the FBI has announced that they believe they have finally arrested the man who planted pipe bombs near the headquarters of both the RNC and the DNC the night before the attempted insurrection. And it wasn't actually a cold case, as Pam Bondi lied and pretend that it was right there. But a new team comes in, they go over the same evidence that the prior team did. They potentially talked to some new people and maybe did a good job and potentially got the actual guy. Of course, at this point, it's still an allegation, but they believe that it's him. I'm inclined to think that they probably have good reason to believe so. That said, we're now finding out a little bit more about the guy who did it. And I have a feeling like the celebration in right-wing media about getting the guy is going to end up omitting some key details, Cenk, but what are your 2 cents?
Yeah, so my 2 cents are very different. On the one hand, I do want to give them credit. They got the guy, and the Biden team didn't get the guy. So that's a big deal. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. On the other hand, guess who he was supporting and which election he thought was stolen. And so that I've written about in social media, and I will tell you the right-wing reaction to that. It'll be interesting.
Oh, fascinating. Okay, so what do we know about this guy? So he was identified as Brian Cole of Woodbridge, Virginia, and it probably feels like to a lot of people, why did it take 5 years to find this guy? Obviously, there was a lot of work put into it, but it's hard because initially you see his photo right there, and then you see the initial shot. I mean, that could be pretty much anybody. That could be me. That could be Ben Mankiewicz. I mean, who's to say? It's hard. You have very little information there. You could potentially make out the shoes, and that's pretty much it. Nike Air Max Speed Turf sneakers with a yellow logo. I don't know how they decided that was a yellow logo from that shot. But they didn't even know at that point the gender of the person. Obviously, there were theories floating around for a long time involving Marjorie Greene. It looks like she's probably off the hook at this point. But anyway, 4 years after the incident, and now 4 years later, you can talk about this part of it in right-wing media. You're not supposed to acknowledge any of the rest of what happened on January 6th. All of that was totally cool, not a big deal. You can talk about this part though. So they did this probe. They had 1,000 interviews, 39,000 video files, 600 tips from the public. I mean, that's a lot to look into. There were a variety of different persons of interest that came and went during that time, apparently. This particular guy only really went on their radar in recent weeks, they say. Now, Pam Bondi claimed that it was a cold case, that nobody was really working on it under the Biden administration. And of course, she's gonna say that, and there's no reason why you should believe her because she's not a serious lawyer. She's a Trump hack. Darren Cox, the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Washington field office, said that FBI agents never stopped investigating the case. Okay, and they have to, I guess, be stopped. Like for instance, when they were stopped investigating Tom Homan and the bribery and all that. But anyway, so the new team comes in, they reanalyze apparently all of the different evidence, and they had time to do that because they were told not to look into the Epstein files. And so that provided the new information, I guess, and they were able to track down this guy, which is awesome. But as Cenk said, the one bit of information we have about a potential motive is that he apparently told the FBI he believed the 2020 election was stolen, which Cenk is going to say implies that he's a Trump supporter. And that's really the only thing that makes sense. And the right doesn't seem to be talking about that very much, which seems strange, especially considering we're coming out of months of being told that the left is purely violent. MAGA has never ever been violent, ignore the rest of January 6th. That feels like a pretty relevant piece of information. And I feel like if something like that pointed towards the left, like if they were saying that Biden stole the 2020 primary from Bernie, I feel like right-wing media would be leading with it. Cenk, what do you think?
Yeah, so first the credit part, because we're the fairest show in America. So look, do I think that the Biden team stopped working the case? Very unlikely, because it's such a huge case. Who wouldn't want to break it? And that one of the conspiratorial theories behind that is that they knew that it's part of the deep state, and the FBI had actually done it, and that's why they didn't work on it. Well, the FBI just broke the case, so I guess it wasn't the FBI, right? And this guy's not in the FBI, so the theories about the FBI and deep state were totally wrong. Now you can acknowledge that because it's Trump's FBI that caught the guy and is saying he was not FBI. Okay, so that was ludicrous. But did they get the guy? They didn't get the guy, right? Maybe I can't possibly know whether they worked hard enough on it or not. But results matter. The proof is in the pudding. The Biden team didn't get him, and the Trump team did, including, yes, Kash Patel. So my first time ever on the show giving credit to Kash Patel. Okay, so now John is. I can see him in the Zoom going, yeah.
Unless they caught that guy stalking his girlfriend, he wasn't involved.
I hear you, but it's under his term, so it is what it is. Okay, so credit where credit is due. Okay, now the only thing we know so far about him is that he thought that the election was stolen, and he's apparently talked to the authorities after they caught him at length. And so we'll find out more as things go along. And by the way, if that turns out not to be true, we'll come back here and tell you twice as much that it wasn't true, right? Because we don't want to put out anything that's not true, right? But that is what CNN is reporting. That's what everybody's reporting, okay? So now the others are saying online, well, his parents were Democrats. And, okay, that doesn't prove anything at all, right? So, okay, so bottom line is, what I said on social media was, look, guys, before we knew what his motive was and if he was left or right or supported Trump or not, I said, if it turns out that he was on the left wing, Trump will call for potentially executions, blame everyone on the left, call for crackdowns against all left-wing organizations, etc. But if he was a Trump supporter, he might pardon him. Okay, and people are like, how dare you? That's outrageous. You can't. What do you mean pardon? Like, what do you mean? He pardoned everybody else from January 6th that were his supporters, including people who did very significant violence. And they're like, he didn't pardon them. He commuted their sentences and let them out of prison. Okay, yeah, that's because they were already in prison, right? So look, a pardon would be outrageous. So I get it, he might not pardon him. But today I came out when it turns out we did find out that it was a Trump supporter. And I said, well, okay, what are you gonna do now? Are we gonna talk about, right-wing organizations? I didn't even get into that. And I'm like, so where's Trump? Is he gonna do a big thing, or was I right? Let's find out, because we don't know yet. Maybe Trump comes out and goes, this son of a bitch, so what that he thought I won the election? I can't believe he planted those pipe bombs. One of those, Kamala Harris walked 20 feet within one of those pipe bombs. She could have been killed, a presidential contender, and I won't stand for it, right? He's not gonna do any of that. You know it, I know it. If you're the most MAGA cat turdy dude in the world, you know it, okay? But of course, the right-wing reaction online has been, and you remember, of course, like this is a thing that people have talked about, that sometimes I get along with the right wing, right? If we agree on no war or Israel not controlling us, etc., great, right? Epstein files. But on this one, no way. They're like, yeah, right, you're crazy. I don't believe the source. I don't believe anything. No way. His parents are Democrats. Look at him. And when they say look at him, they mean he's black, okay? And et cetera, et cetera. And so they're just in a complete state of denial right now.
Yeah. Really fast, I see that Rudy Giuliani say that the Biden administration didn't arrest him because they orchestrated this. Okay. Kash Patel says it was intentional that they didn't catch this guy who evidently was a Trump supporter.
But like that makes no sense.
No.
Even if you look at what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and the Trump administration are saying now, they didn't say that Biden administration orchestrated this. They're not saying that at all. They didn't say the FBI did it, et cetera. So Giuliani is like in la la land. Oh, that's another guy who was involved in January 6th and trying to steal the election for Trump. Also got a pardon. Oh, I know, I'm crazy for suggesting it.
Yeah, he'd never do that.
Crazy. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.